Welcome to the January 14th, 2025 school board meeting. For policy 2506, the superintendent will preside over the organizational meeting until a president is elected. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1 on the agenda is attendance. Secretary Summers, would you please take attendance?
Here. Vice President McDonough.
Here.
Secretary Summers here. Treasury Whitney. Here. Trustee Atchison.
Here.
Trustee Hilbert. Here. Trustee Sarah Beth.
Yeah,
Okay. Say it again for me. Say your last name again for me.
Compajori.
Confidential. It will take a moment, but yes. Okay. Trustee Gibson. Here. Everybody's present?
All right, thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is the oath of office for our newly elected board trustees. So Kelly, if you want to come over, Mike Aldred, Ann Atchison, Sarah Beth Compajorni, and Shane Gibson, if you could please stand and take the oath.
Okay, I'm gonna go slow.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office as a member
of the office as a member
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of Oxford Community Schools
of Oxford Community Schools
in Oakland and Lapeers County, Michigan,
in Oakland and Lapeer Counties, Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
All right, thank you. Item 3 on the agenda is election of officers. I will call for nomination for the office of board president. Each board member will name his or her preferred nominee via the roll call process.
And Gibson.
Ann Atchison.
Summers. Ann Atchison. Atchison.
Ann Atchison?
Aldred.
Amanda McDonough.
Amanda McDonough. Or
Amanda McDonough.
Sarah Beth.
Amanda McDonough.
And Whitney.
Amanda McDonough.
All right, I'll take a motion.
Motion. I move to appoint Amanda McDonough as board president for the 2025 calendar year.
Do I have support?
Support. Support.
Who was that?
Discussion? Any discussion?
I'll start. So, well, first off, the last 40 hours has been interesting. I haven't had that many emails on either side of things I mean, this is the third time, sorry, second year. And so I appreciate all the input. I definitely read through every one of the emails, unless you sent it in the last 20 minutes. And it was, I think a lot of the emails that I saw, it was interesting to understand fully, I guess, motives of emails, I'll be honest. Because, so, most of the emails in, I guess, not wanting Van to be president, did not call out character traits that she wouldn't be a good fit, and honestly seemed a little disconnected from what has gone on the board the last 2 years. I'll just say that. And then I'll leave it at that right there. I think Amanda, certainly I think she's the most qualified here. We're a young board. We need a strong leader. She has, I think she's 2 classes away from level 2. Is that correct? She has been one of the most, if not the most dedicated board members of the last 2 years. I mean, that's not even, I don't think, an argument. She has been integral on the change policy. I don't think that that would not have gone nearly as smoothly as it did without Amanda. As far as the governance committee, so she was the champion of really getting that set before new board members were put in place, and I very much appreciate that because we did not really have any kind of procedure when James, Amanda, and I came on. So that was certainly, with everything else going on, it was a little bit lower on the priority thing for the last 2 years, but it still got accomplished. And I really, and nothing against you, Anna. I mean, you're brand new, and I really just haven't seemed like an overwhelmingly, I mean, not that you had much opportunity, but just not overwhelmingly leadership role. I mean, I guess that's all. So to me, it was kind of a clear choice. That's it. Okay.
I think that my main message, if I may, overwhelmingly, my overarching statement is this. As a board, we have heard messages sent to us, as we always do. I think as a board, we've read all of them. We consider them, as we always do, and as we should. And all I would say is that as a board, we are elected to do a job on behalf of this amazing community and children and staff of this community. And we are going to do the best we can to do that. Right? So I think just in general, yes, we have received many messages as we normally do, a little bit more so this time. But the message as a whole is the message was received. The community, staff, everyone who reaches out is always heard. And we hope the best for our board, 2025, and all of us moving forward as a community.
So I know, obviously there's a little bit of a divide here and stuff like that, but I would echo what you say. As a board, we did our board retreat on Saturday, right? We all work together, we came together, we have differences and stuff, but that's what we want. Our community is not, in topics, have different viewpoints and stuff, and I think that's important that we recognize that. Regardless of the outcome in here, I think they're both people that could rise to the job. I don't think anybody fully appreciates that role until they're completely in it, 100%. And there's going to be a lot that comes with it for whoever ends up getting into that role. Being that I've worked with Amanda the last couple of years, I think there's some great strengths that she brings to the role. And we've worked both here publicly at the board table and in policy committee and such. But there's also some things that I've worked with Ann here at the board and other topics that I think she brings some great skill sets. Probably stuff that hasn't been emphasized or been able to be displayed very well to late. So with that being said, it is definitely a role that is one of 7. There's many responsibilities to that role and stuff, and whoever ends up getting it will have big shoes to fill like anybody else that has done that. So it will be a good 2025. I think we're all here, we talked about it, our heart's in the right spot, what we want. So thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? I just wanted to thank everyone that reached out. I think that hearing people's perspective is very helpful. So for all the folks that reached out with their emails and conversations, I think that benefits all of us to hear different perspectives, and particular kudos to any of the staff that reached out, because that has to be kind of challenging to reach out to leaders of the district that they work for. I think that's takes a lot of guts, so I really commend that, and I want to let them know that they were heard and the entire board hears them, and I think that's something to be celebrated, that our retreat was very successful on Saturday. So I'm excited to move forward and offer my time and my skills in any way I can. Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, Secretary Summers.
Yep, I'm going to be going through a roll call vote for our new members tonight. I need you to answer in a yes or a no answer only. Gibson?
Yes.
Summers? Yes. Atchison?
Yes.
Aldred?
Yes.
McDonough?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
Whitney?
Yes.
Unanimous vote for Amanda McDonough for the board president for the 2025 calendar year.
As per board policy, I will now step down and the newly elected President McDonough will continue the meeting.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for your support. I just really, really look forward to this year, working with all of you and continuing the positive momentum that this board is on. So, very much appreciated. We can move right along into our next officer nomination for vice president.
Similar to fashion, it's going to be a roll call to each member of the board. You'll name your nominee if you have one for the position of vice president. Whitney?
Sorry, Mike Aldrin.
Gibson?
Ann Atchison.
Summers? Ann Atchison? Atchison?
Ann Atchison.
Mike Aldrin?
Mike Aldridge.
McDonough?
Mike Aldred.
And Surratt?
Mike also.
Anybody like to take that motion? Anybody?
Okay. Move to appoint Mike Aldridge as vice president of the board for the 2025 calendar year.
Support. Sarah Beth? Yes. Any discussion?
Oh, I'll start. I appreciate the nomination, thank you. I think both of us, both Mike and myself, have the skill set to be able to do the work. From Amanda's example, it's a lot of heavy lifting. There's quite a bit to do. So I'm here for it, and I know that Mike would also do an excellent job. So I think that's a great place to have, right there. Great options.
I personally, I'm torn between the two of you, right? I did say Ann, but you guys both have different skill sets that I think complement Amanda in her positioning of the board as the president, and therefore, when her actions, whoever the vice president becomes, would fill those shoes. It's definitely a learning opportunity for that, and I just, I think we know our deficits and fill our gaps and stuff, and we complement each other as members here of the board as we learn good stuff, and I think either one of you would be able to do that very well.
I will echo that both of you have done a tremendous job since starting on the board, and I think that both of you would do well within the role. The reason that I nominated Mike is that I believe that his leadership capabilities are going to be excellent for the vice president position. Seeing as that was my position this past year, I know what it entails, and looking at it from that lens, I believe that it matches more closely with Mike's skill set. Anybody else?
I cannot say thank you first to the community, the staff, and of course the board. And I accept humbly the opportunity to be in this position and look forward to all the help that comes along with it.
All right, so again, roll call vote. I need either a yes or a no. Whitney?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Summers, yes. Atchison?
Yes.
Aldridge?
Yes.
McDonough?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
Unanimous vote for Mike Aldridge to serve as board vice president for the 2025 calendar year.
you want to roll right into secretary?
Yep.
As you can see from our sheet, we had 3 board members interested in this position.
Yep, so again, roll call vote, or not, excuse me, not vote, but roll call, similar fashion to the previous 2 roles for the position of secretary. Sarah Beth?
James Summers?
Mike Whitney?
James Summers.
Shane Gibson?
James Summers.
James Summers, I will nominate myself, James Summers. Ann Atchison?
James Summers?
Mike Aldred?
James Summers.
I like the intentional pause, thanks. And Amanda McDonough?
James Summers. Okay, can we get a motion?
Move to appoint James Summers as the board secretary for the 2025 calendar year.
Support? Ann? Any discussion?
You just worked that clock really well. And I knew I couldn't compete with it, so we're gonna throw your name out there.
But I appreciate the vote of confidence with this clock. It has been a major learning curve, especially for anybody that comes for public comment and it's beeped at you and stuff. So I think I have it under control now, but I appreciate the nominations across the board. Yeah, I don't.
Anybody else? Okay.
All right, may seem repetitive, but this is going to be a roll call vote, so I need a yes or a no. Sarah Beth?
Yes.
Mike Whitney?
Yes.
Shane Gibson?
Yes.
James Summers, yes. Ann Atchison?
Yes.
Mike Aldred?
Yes.
Amanda McDonough?
Yes.
All right, and that's a unanimous vote for James Summers for the board secretary for the 2025 calendar year.
Okay, lastly, we have treasurer. Would you like to roll into?
Yep, so again, calling for roll call here for nominees for the treasurer. Amanda McDonough,
Mike Whitney.
Sarah Beth,
Mike Whitney?
Mike Whitney,
Mike Whitney.
Shane Gibson,
Mike Whitney.
James Summers, Mike Whitney, Ann Atchison,
Mike Whitney?
and Mike Aldred.
Mike Whitney.
Okay. Anybody like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion. I move to appoint Mike Whitney as the board treasurer for the 2025 calendar year.
Support. Mike Aldred. And discussion.
I will start with, Mike, you held that role last year through the time. You did a great job at it. You are a numbers and raw data person, which I am not, and that is very pivotal in the treasury role, along with the finances, as we go into this next year for many different things that will come ahead of us, probably some that we don't even know about yet. So I look forward to your great work in that role and offer my support, while it may be limited, for whatever you can if you get the role.
He's just really good at signing checks.
I was waiting for that. You didn't want to have to redo a new stamp. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the vote of confidence. Certainly I came into the role only the middle of last year, but being on the finance committee, I think we're very, very fortunate to have John there. It's been awesome to have him come in as Sam left. You know, there was a lot of uncertainty there once, but we knocked it out of the park there. It's made it a lot easier, and you'll see some of that pretty soon, actually, when he presents to the board. But board finance or school finance is completely different than anything, any private finance, any home finance, and so it's been a learning curve for sure. Anyone that has any experience, we'll get to the committees shortly. Welcome your help on that committee. But thank you, again, thank you all for the vote of support. Courtney's great too, sorry. Sorry about that.
If there's going to be a roll call vote, I please need you to answer with a yes or a no. Amanda McDonough?
Yes.
Sarah Rudd?
Yes.
Mike Whitney?
Yes.
Shane Gibson?
Yes.
James Summers, yes. Ann Atchison?
Yes.
And Mike Alder?
Yes.
All right. And that's a unanimous vote for Mike Whitney for the board treasurer for the 2025 calendar year.
Okay, thanks again, Mike. We really do appreciate all the work that you've done on finance committee this year, and your role as treasurer has not gone unnoticed, so we appreciate you. Now we'll move into board committees, and you all have a sheet in front of you showing which members were interested in each committee. I know that we had the board retreat on Saturday, and during that time, we also went over some of the committees when we were going over the operating procedures. And side note, it was a fantastic retreat, and I am very, very excited about this year and our team. So during that discussion, if there was anybody that changed their mind about a committee or wanted to move into one or say I'm not really interested in another, we can, if it helps, we can go over the committees and give you a somewhat overview. And I can start with policy, since I'm the chair of that committee currently. That requires a monthly commitment. There will be one meeting per month, and whether or not there are updates from Troon on policy, we really need to get into a cadence of looking at our policies and keeping them continuously updated. That was something that we ran into with Neola. Some policies were decades old, and so in order to keep it current, that is what we would like to see from policy committee. That also extends into governance committee, a monthly commitment. And all of these are preferably during work hours, because oftentimes we will have Dr. Milligan and other cabinet members in to assist with either policy or governance pertaining to what we're discussing. So that would be within work hours, ideally, on all of those. We try to keep it that way. So if that's something that changes your mind at all, you're free to do that. And Mike, do you want to give a bit of an overview on finance?
Yes. So the finance committee, typically, we have been meeting once a month. Certainly that day is flexible, but I'll echo, it is usually during the work day. It's been Friday. Mornings have worked pretty well for us, at least previously with Aaron, who was our co-chair on the board. And so, but we typically go over certainly the regular finances, any major expenditures coming up, budgeting, the budget, John leads most of those discussions. We bring any concerns that we have up. The regular cadence, at least last year, was, certainly we're not making major decisions in that committee, and we've tried to be very open to the rest of the board as well. So we bring most of the decisions to the total, complete board table to make sure everyone's included and we have all the stakeholders as much as possible. But it's still, you're getting it firsthand, getting a little bit more into details, and that's really a couple hours a month.
Thank you. And for governance, that will also be monthly for the time being. That is a committee that the way that we envisioned it originally is that eventually it wouldn't need to be monthly, but I do anticipate for at least this year that It will be monthly. There are still a lot of outstanding items that we would like to accomplish in the success of our board and moving forward, keeping us on track. We have the board self-evaluation coming up. There's obviously changes to the superintendent evaluation this year, and the governance committee would oversee a lot of that. And then lastly, James, do you want to talk about safety?
Yeah, so I've been chairing the district safety committee, and while it's called the district safety committee, the board is really, you have representation there when the district itself meets with local law enforcement, emergency personnel from our fire and EMS staff. Recently, because McLaren is now in the community, we meet with them and stuff, and it's a quarterly meeting. And really, that meeting there is to go over topical things. Some of it's EOP stuff, some of it's if there's procedural and policy changes within our emergency services. We have representation that comes sometimes from the county prosecutor's office, local government officials from the township, from the village. We even have some people from our local commissioner that comes up and stuff. And it's really a chance for those entities to get together all in one room with their phones on silent, and have no distractions as much as possible to discuss, topical things that are going on within the district. Sometimes it's reviewing of different things that have happened, or what are we looking for. And as of recently, there's been some legal changes, some different formatting changes for the OP that we'll be having coming in February. So that gets dispersed to the local emergency services to make sure that what information is there is still relevant and current with their procedures and how they respond to things. The board part of it, when we go there, myself and Mike have been there, other people, is really more of listening, so we can turn around and come back and report to the board. Hey, this is what was discussed. This is the topics that were there. Like I said, the EOP, as it's getting finalized and stuff, that will be coming at a later meeting here. Nothing at those committees are driven by board members. It's more of just having ears and eyes there for that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that it's clearly defined so there's no misunderstanding of that. But it's good to be able to get into that room and to hear the thoughts of other people when you're talking about their areas of expertise and what the professionalism and stuff and some insight and things. And as this calendar year moves forward, as the quarterly meetings come forward, whoever's on there, the chairs and stuff, I would expect for them to come back to the board and say, hey, this is what we discussed. This is the topics that we went over, and these are the things, and kind of give the board an update and stuff. For the overall arching for the district safety stuff, that would be coming from Dr. Williman herself, because she runs those committees with the local stuff. So it's in conjunction with her. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody.
Yes, thank you very much. So I know many people put in for multiple committees. I think we're all very willing to serve as needed. But just to reiterate that if we have 3 people on each committee, that would be 5 of us having 2 committee assignments and 2 of us only having 1. So we cannot have more than 3 on a committee. So would we like to start in with policy committee and talk about anyone that's interested in policy?
Yeah, do you want a motion or just who's still interested? What are you looking for on those?
I would like to just see who's still interested, so we...
I've enjoyed it. It's been a big undertaking, right, changing our policy service provider. And really that's the legal updates and things that have come from what we had before to what we have currently, as well as the continual legal updates that happen in the legal arenas and things change and stuff like that. I would still be interested to be considered for that committee. Like you did say, it's at least once a month during the day and usually runs a couple hours and stuff. And so I can full-heartedly commit to that and say that I could be there for that myself.
I'm willing to step away from that committee. I think it's a wonderful experience to be involved and to really get to comb through the policies that were before the committee during my time on there. So I think it was a very valuable experience, and I definitely appreciated being a part of it. I highly recommend, but I'm also ready to branch out, and I'm interested in a few of the other ones, so opening that up, since there's only 3 spots available.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm very flexible on moving around, and learning about other committees that I have not served on. This is my baby, though. This is the one that I really want, and so I ideally would love to remain on this committee. I am passionate about it. I'm very committed to it, and so I do not want to step away from this one.
I've been on the governance since joining, as well as safety. It goes without saying, my number one is safety, and I would love to stay on that committee. But what I would like to offer up is my change of interest to be considered a policy. I think I'm not interested in jumping around, but I'm interested in doing and committing to what's right for our community, our staff, and children. And since our retreat and doing some in my own education, the policy committee seems to be in line with the next step in growth for the board, for me, and I'd like to be considered for that if possible.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm going to ask
Okay, then.
them, actually I was going to ask them, because I know Shane had voiced interest in it. Shane, are you still interested?
Yeah, definitely I would be
Okay.
interested. In my professional role, I write policy and procedure for jails and prisons across the country, so I do have some insight into exactly how that works and collaborating with multidisciplinary teams. And so I would absolutely be interested in this particular committee if available.
Okay.
Okay, well, we have 4 then.
I'll make a motion. All right. So I'd like to make a motion, move to appoint Shane Gibson, Mike Allred, and Amanda McDonough to the policy committee. Excuse me, the Board of Education policy.
Support. Shane? And discussion.
All right, so this is going to be taken as a roll call vote. Again, I need a yes or no. Mike Allred,
Yes.
Amanda McDonough,
Yes.
Sarah Beth,
Yes.
Mike Whitney,
Yes.
Shane Gibson,
Yes.
James Summers, yes, Ann Atchison.
Yes.
All right.
Great. Okay, we'll move on to Finance Committee. And would anybody like to have discussion, especially those who had marked their interest in this committee, whether they are still interested or not?
I'm very interested in this committee. I feel like this would be a great opportunity for me to learn more from what I've already had from the training I attended in October. And I agree with Mike's statement that it is like nothing I've ever seen before, and there's a lot to dig into there. So my brain is very, very interested in understanding more and being able to offer any help in any way that I can, because that's interesting.
Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, I'd absolutely be interested in the finance committee position. It's kind of echoing what Ann said. It's outside of my regular duties, my everyday job, but I'd be highly interested in learning more about the district, its finances, how we're spending the money, and making sure that we're serving our community to the best of our ability.
Thank you. And of course, we would have Mike Whitney on that committee. So at this point, we have 3 people interested. I believe Sarah Beth also was interested. I put my name on that one, but I will go ahead and step to the side on that. Sarah Beth, is that something that you're still very interested in?
Yes, I am. I've been following the check distribution for the last 2 going on 3 years, and I have some questions, and I understand that finances are different, and so I'm anxious to learn and make sure that our school district is getting the monies to the seated students mostly. like to be on it.
Would anybody else like to say anything? We have 4. We can either keep discussing or move into a motion. I do just want to bring up the point, and I don't know if it makes a difference, Shane, to you, if you do go on to this committee, and that means the other 2, you would not be on. Just make sure we're still good?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion for Atchison, Gibson, and Whitney for the Oxford Board of Education Finance Committee.
Support? James? Any discussion? Okay, we will move into a roll call vote. James?
If roll call vote, I need a yes or no, please. Atchison,
Yes.
Aldred,
Yes.
McDonough,
Yes.
Surratt,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Summers, yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, we will move on to the District Safety Committee. There were quite a few members interested in this one, so if you would like to have a discussion about this first, anybody that would be interested? James?
I was gonna say, being that I've been there for a little bit, I'd like to continue to chair this if, unless other people, it's nice to have some changing around on that. Again, it's quarterly and such, but, you know, yeah. So this is one that kind of like Mike said to me next to, you know, kind of near and dear to the heart and stuff, but, if there's still other people and stuff, I don't know, I'm torn. I want to give the other people opportunities as well. Or,
Mike or Sarah Beth?
I'll step down.
Step down, Sarah Beth, okay. Mike Aldred, are you still interested in the safety committee?
100%.
This is an area that I have not been part of within committee, and so I would be interested in jumping into the safety committee. And that would make 3 if anybody would like to make a motion.
The only thing I'm looking at, and not to try to change your mind, Sarah Bob, but unless you want to get on the governance committee, I don't think you're on a committee then, just so.
Good point, thank you.
So we're aware. And
Do you have a preference between
So I-
safety or
yeah.
governance, or did you want either?
Either or.
I will step back on the safety and give opportunity to Sarah back for that. And then that way we're not overtied. Being that let's see, governance committee is what I was, because I don't have my name on there, but I'd be interested. And that, because we did the policy stuff and bringing the knowledge from the policy side and district safety and stuff, I think it flows into governance
There's a lot of crossover.
and stuff. And there's new people bring new perspectives to stuff, and I mean, a lot of uplifting's already been done for that, but, yeah. I like how you guys are really trying to make sure I don't get out of any committees, that you're trying to make sure that everybody has at least one and stuff.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think, you know, the experiences that we've had over the last 2 years, and I'm jumping ahead to the governance committee, and what you've started, Amanda, on that governance document and what we're doing there and stuff, trying to make sure our newly elected board members have a best foot forward, a lot of information. It's a great start, and I think it will be easy to springboard from that and just to make it better. So, are you okay with that, Sarah Beth? Being on district safety and then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
So I'll be happy to make a motion if you're ready for it.
That would be great, thank you.
All right. Move to appoint Sarah Beth, Mike Aldred, and Amanda McDonough to the District Safety Committee.
Support. Shane? Thank you. Any discussion?
All right. Roll call vote, again, need a yes or no. Summers, yes. Atchison,
Yes.
Aldred,
Yes.
McDonough,
Yes.
Sarabeth,
Yes.
Whitney, Gibson.
Yes.
All right, great. Well, lastly, we have the governance committee. And James, it sounds like you want to join this one. How about the others that had expressed interest?
Amanda, are you on two now? Are you on policy and district safety?
I am on two.
So then we, in theory, could remove you from the governance?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So then that would leave for interest stuff. I'm just making sure I have my notes right. Atchison, Aldred, and myself.
And how many already have two?
Policy and
Shane has
safety, I'm
two.
on, so I need to be removed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. This is, yeah,
And Aldred already has two.
Okay, so right now it's going to be Atchison, how many do you have? I'm going back to my,
She just has one.
she just has one? All right.
So what, Sarah, is that something that you would be interested in? Would you be interested in governance committee?
You get it as well, if you want it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like we have Jane,
Yes.
Sarah, Beth, and Ann at
Yeah.
least interested in governance?
Yep.
That sounds great.
Anybody else? Sorry.
No, that's right. And of course, this goes without saying, any of the changeovers between those of us that have been on the committees, reach out, please. We'll send all of our documentation, what we were working on, just to get you up to speed. Especially for this one, because you will not have any previous members on the governance committee, but Dr. Milligan and I take fantastic notes, so you'll be all set. So if you want to move into a roll call vote, James?
I'll make the motion first. There.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no worries.
Yes.
I'm getting good at the secretary
You're
spot,
ahead of
you
me.
know, third year. So I'll make a motion to move to appoint Summers, Sarabeth, and Atchison to the Board of Education Governance Committee.
Support. Shane? Any discussion? None.
All right, roll call vote, I need a yes or no. Gibson?
Yes.
Summers, yes. Atchison?
Yes.
Aldred?
Yes.
McDonough?
Yes.
Sarabeth?
Yes.
Whitney?
yes.
All right.
All right, committees are set. Fantastic. The next one is the Open Schools Budget Review. And for that one, we had a few people interested. Would we like to have discussion on that or move into a motion?
So, I just asking a question for clarification here. In this, in theory, when that comes to us, these three people can look at it, but the person that we're appointing is who we send down to officially cast a vote as a board, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure I understood that correctly. Okay. And those meetings are at night.
Yes.
That particular meeting is just once a year, correct? For that one? For the budget review?
For the vote.
Yeah, for the vote?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
And the person that will be going there to vote will be voting on the board's behalf.
Yeah.
As we vote. So however we voted at 7, they'll just cast that vote.
Right, okay.
With that, I think that withdraw money from consideration.
Okay, thank you, Mike. So it sounds like Ann and Shane were interested in this one.
Yeah, I'm very happy to attend any of the open schools meetings, so I'm happy to do that, but I'm also just fine if Shane wants that opportunity as well, so I'm good with either.
Yeah, I'm very much willing to serve. Being on the finance committee, I think it roll into the budget committee easily, and I know I'm not able to be a representative to the OC SBA, so I know Ann is, so if you're more than willing to do OC SBA, I can take care of this one, so.
That works, yeah.
All right. Sounds great. Do we have
I'll make a
a
motion.
motion?
Yep.
Thank you.
So move to appoint Shane Gibson to the Oakland County Schools Budget Review.
Support.
I support.
Mike Whitney, thank you. Any discussion?
All right. Roll call vote again, yes or no, please. Whitney?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Saunders? Yes. Atchison?
Yes.
Alder?
Yes.
McDonough?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
And then I'll move to the motion for the next three, unless
Sure.
maybe we kind of really heard it discussed it, so. All right. So I move to appoint Ann Atchison to the OCSBA Governance Relations Committee.
Support. Mike Aldred. Any discussion? I would just like to say about this one, anybody is able to attend. This is typically the first Wednesday of every month around 6:30, if I'm correct, right? So any of us can go to these meetings and it's the same deal and votes on our behalf as a whole. So. Any others? No? Okay, roll call.
Good. Again, roll call vote, I need a yes or no. Surratt?
Yes.
Whitney?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Saunders? Yes. Atchison?
Yes.
Alder?
Yeah.
McDonough?
Yes. All right. Great job. I'm very excited about the composition of the committees for this year, and thank you all again for offering to help out. There will be quite a bit of work, and it is much appreciated. So we can move right into our next item on the agenda, bank depositories. There's at least one motion. Would anybody like to move that? Mike?
Move that all general fund and debt retirement checks for the 2025 calendar year be listed and approved by the board. They will be signed by using the signature plate engraved with the names of Tanya Milligan and Mike Whitney.
Support. Thank you, James. Any discussion? Roll call.
Do that. All right. So roll call vote again, yes or no, please. McDonough?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
Whitney?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Saunders? Yes. Atchison?
Yes.
Alder?
Yes.
Moving into the next. We get a motion? Mike, you want to just roll into it?
Sure.
Great.
Move that all payroll, internal accounting, and school lunch checks be signed for the 2025 calendar year by using the plate engraved with the names Tanya Milligan and Mike Whitney.
Support. Ann? Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Roll call vote, I need a yes or no, please. Alder?
Yes.
McDonough?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
Whitney?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Saunders? Yes. Atchison?
Yes.
One more, Mike?
Move that the board president will be allowed to sign checks in place of the board treasurer only when and if needed.
Support. Mike Aldred. Any discussion? Roll call.
And roll call vote, I need a yes or no, please. Atchison?
Yes.
Alder?
Yes.
McDonough?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
Whitney?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Saunders? Yes.
Next item on the agenda is our 2025-2026 meeting schedule that was in your board packet, but there is also a physical copy on the table. If you haven't had a chance to look over, please do. Anyone ready? Motion? James, thank you.
Okay, I move to approve the Board of Education 2025-2026 meeting schedule as presented.
Support? Shane Gibson. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we are moving into item number 7, legal counsel. John, okay, thank you. John, could you speak a little bit about this for us?
Congratulations, everyone. Our request is based upon adding Clark Hill and Miller Canfield as legal firms to our set of firms that we can use for different subject matters. The basis of the request is really predicated on my personal history with working with several people from those firms. 30 years in some cases with a couple of them. I know them well, they're well experienced, they're very well understanding and placed when it comes to all things K-12. I consider my working relationship and experience with them almost an asset when it comes to certain things. For example, Mr. Crowley with Miller Canfield would be a contact that we'd be working with when it comes to things related to millage-related issues. For example, we have a general operating millage issue coming up, not too distant future. I just got done working with him less than a year ago when I was in my previous position with Lagorian for GL Village and Sinky Fund Village. I have utmost trust in them and their experience, and I don't want to sound like I don't with the other firms we work with. I just happen to be making this request because I know exactly who I'm dealing with and what I'm dealing with and experience you're going to be. So that's really why I'm bringing it forward. Thank you.
Did anybody have questions for John? I know we had already answered preemptively in our Q&A this week, but if there's anything else, otherwise I will take a motion. Mike Aldrin?
Move to add Clark Hill PLC and Miller Canfield Patrick Stone PLC as legal counsel for Oxford Community School for the remainder of the 24-25 school year, as presented.
Thank you. Support? James? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, John. Next item, any changes to the board agenda? I have none. Okay. And scheduled public comment. Kelly, did we receive any? No, thank you. Next is our consent agenda. You have in your board packet the minutes from regular and closed session, as well as bills payable and HR updates. So unless there are any questions, can I get a motion? Thanks, James.
Yeah, move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Ian, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, Superintendent's report with Dr. Milligan.
All right, good evening, everyone. Congratulations to my colleagues and for their positions and for their committees. I look forward to working with you. One of the outcomes of our retreat, we really had a lot of conversation about it being a team of 8 and supporting one another with the work that we do. So I'm excited to do that work. Alrighty, first and foremost, welcome back from the holiday break. These are some of the shenanigans our high school team got into. And I do believe that Ms. Christy Gibson Marshall was instigator / creator of these scenes. We had our very own elf on a shelf. Mr. Mark Suckley for climbing up there, I don't know, but it brought a lot of joy to students. So thank you for always giving 100% for our kids. That was really fun to see. I see it posted all over the place in the district, so that's really fun. All right, the second piece is, it is School Board Recognition Month. I do have a certificate of proclamation that I'm going to read, but I also have certificates for our board members, so I'm actually going to go up there, Aaron, to do that. All right, this is, it's really cool because it actually, Michigan was one of the states that started this, MASB started this. And only 5 states initially celebrated school boards. And then at this point in time, all states recognize school boards during this month. So it's kind of cool that Michigan started that. So on behalf of the people of Michigan, I, Gretchen Whitmer, Governor of Michigan, do hereby proclaim January 2025 as School Board Recognition Month. Whereas Michigan is home to nearly 600 locally elected local school boards that work to enrich the lives of Michigan students through education and directly influencing instruction in Michigan's public schools. And whereas local school board members are exceptional public servants who have dedicated and committed themselves to this duty by governing school districts, listening to parent voices, and advancing student achievement and well-being in the schools and communities they serve. And whereas during this month, we will join the Michigan Association of School Boards, Michigan Department of Education, local school districts, and community organizations to recognize and raise awareness of the countless efforts and contributions of local school boards and school board members throughout Michigan. And now therefore, I, Gretchen Whitmer, Governor of Michigan, do hereby proclaim January 2025 as School Board Recognition Month in Michigan. So I will call our trustees up to receive their certificate. All right, Trustee Atchison. Vice President Aldrin. And yes, I'm going to make you walk the whole way. Congratulations, you're Trustee Compagiorni. That was close. Compagiorni. Trustee Gibson. President McDonough. Secretary Summers. And Treasurer Whitney. All right, if we can give a huge round of applause. Thank you for your service. And now, Aaron, we have something fun and exciting for you. So I think it's fun and exciting.
Thank you, School Board, for always being there and supporting the students, whether in hard times or in good times, and always being there for us.
Thank you, school board members, for everything you do for our schools.
Thank you for choosing us and everything you do to help with our district.
High five to you guys for hiring everybody, and I am very happy to have you guys.
Thank you for giving us the support to help kids learn to the best of their ability, the support for the teachers, staff members, and the years to come supporting the schools in Oxford. Thank you.
Thank you for all this, like all the fun playgrounds that you give us, and the good teachers that teach us good things to make us smarter.
Thank you, Oxford School Board, for all your hard work and leadership.
Thank you so much for helping the people in our school become who they are today.
And thanking the school board for all the programs and all the
hard work they put into the effort of putting our school together and keeping it running. And
Thank you for giving everybody the opportunities to learn.
thank you to the Oxford School Board. I know you guys help us with everything that we do at schools, like sports and some of the other activities we do. So just thank you for everything you guys do.
This place is a very welcoming, happy, smiley face place. Thank you for doing everything that you guys do.
Thank you, school board, and everything you've done for us.
Thank you, school board, for everything you do for us.
Thank you, school board, for keeping our school safe and being kind and helping our school just in general.
Thank you for everything you do for us.
Thank you for everything you guys do, and thank you for helping our schools become a better place.
I just want to thank you guys for everything that you possibly do for us. It being my senior year, I've been with you guys since kindergarten, and I just love the community and both in and out of school that you guys have built for us.
See all the students that participated. I also want to thank Christy Smith, who helped with the video. I went to a couple schools with her, and it was really fun to see these kiddos. So thank you, school board, for your service. All right, thanks, Erin. All right, some safety updates I wanted to share. With the mass notification system, we did have, first and foremost, this is coordinated, the efforts are coordinated by John Fitzgerald and Allison Willman. They're working with Summit primarily with the mass notification system. I also want to thank the school teams who've been testing the speakers. They had Google Forms, so they tried the speakers out. They had Google Forms that provided additional information to the Summit team to make sure that the speakers were working effectively. Over the Christmas break, what they've done is reprogrammed the mass notification system to align with the emergency response protocol. So the buttons on the notification system align directly with our protocols. And so they just, if there's a situation, they just need to push a button. I'm going to share with you the sound. Essentially, they used AI to generate a voice. We wanted to make sure that it was clear, concise, but also calm. We don't want to panic people if we need to use some of these drills. And so we did reprogram all of them to align. We also color-coded them to make sure they were easy to find. So Erin, do you mind? I don't want to, it's just going to say hold, and it's just from here. It's not an actual drill. I just wanted to make sure you know that. You want to go ahead and play that?
Attention all staff and students. A hold has been initiated. A hold has been initiated. Clear the hallways and remain in your room or designated area. Lock all doors and windows. Remain in place until the all clear is announced. Refer to your emergency drill guide for additional information.
So that is the sound, that is the voice that staff and students would hear when we initiate a hold or a lockdown or whatever the case may be. So thank you to the tech team who was able to design that and put that in effect. So all the schools have the exact same voice, the exact same cadence, the exact same, but it's systematic across the district. We did test the program on January 2nd and 3rd. The system is fully functional. Everything works. The PA works. The buttons work. They're all aligned. The speakers work. We are looking to enhance the speakers. And so we are going to have Summit come out to the schools to determine what additional upgrades need to happen. There are some spaces that are large, and we want to make sure that the speakers are strong enough so that everybody can hear. Right now, you can hear it, but if you have a lot of kids in there, you want to have a lot of oomph to your speakers. So they're coming out during midwinter break to determine those upgrades. And on January 20th, all elementary principals and office staff are going to be trained by Summit. That's the company that put them in. as well as OMS and OHS will be playing messages for teachers. No students are in the building on the 20th. Again, just getting everybody used to the sound. We want to make sure we practice this on a regular basis. So if we do indeed need to use the mass notification system, they're already trained on how to do it, and they just automatically engage in those drills. I had mentioned in December a recommendation of proposal for the 25-26 school year, so next school year, for after-school safety. Our current protocol is the use of the Evolve at an after-school event with 500 more spectators at one time. And current protocol is costing upwards of about $500,000 or more to run. And we are looking at some fiscal challenges that we're trying to work out, and we're dealing with that because there was a decline in state aid funding. We did not get the amount that we were anticipating. We have increase in district healthcare costs, where the district will have to cover more costs than they have in the past, as well as use of general fund for facility updates due to the expiration of our sinking fund. We don't currently have a sinking fund to tap into, so we have to use our general fund for anything, if it's a roof, if it's a boiler, whatever the case may be. And then ending of grant funding that supported recovery efforts. So we have these fiscal challenges that we have to work through. The parent committee recommended that we get in contact with the Oakland County Sheriff Department because they said, you know, we really need to talk to the safety experts, what makes sense. And so we work closely with them as well as our safety team here in Oxford to determine what are some best practice strategies when it comes to safety. And from that, we crafted a proposal. We did reach out to some surrounding districts. I recognize that Oxford is different than other communities. I do recognize that, but we do want to have a sense of what other communities are experiencing when it comes to safety. So we got some additional data around that. When we crafted the draft proposal, we went to the safety committee, this district safety team, had them read it, had them make recommendations so that we could make adjustments. Same thing with the parent at the safety advisory committee. We made adjustments to the draft. And then what I'm going to do is by the end of the month, I'm going to send out the draft to the community and seek input and look and see how we can move forward with it, right? So right now, nothing is changing. It's for next year we're thinking about, and we would like as much input as possible. The other situation we were working through this past week is the Power School data breach, so I just wanted to touch base with that. We were notified by Power School on Tuesday, January 7th at 2:10 p.m. And this is what their message essentially said. It is hyperlinked in the board book if you want to see the original message. So a potential cybersecurity incident, they said it was potential. And so that they had access, they refer to it as a threat actor, access to certain information through a Power School employee credential. No Oxford portal was accessed, so this is from Power School. The information accessed in the Student Information Database, that's the SIS, we got lots of kudos that we do not house any social security, financial data, anything in our student information system, which was a gift because that would have been exceptionally problematic. So I'm glad that our tech team made sure that that did not happen. According to Power School, the incident was contained and there was no evidence of continued unauthorized activity or data being made public. And they believe it had been deleted without replication or dissemination. Power School indicated in their initial message that they would be providing a communication package to share with all affected individuals. We have not received that yet. We're still waiting on that. They did hold 2 information meetings on January 8th and 9th. We wanted to make sure that we had accurate information. It was changing constantly. So we wanted to make sure we had accurate information, we were able to ask the questions. And so we had staff attend both meetings on January 8th and 9th, just to make sure that we knew exactly what was going on. And then we communicated on Thursday afternoon, January 9th, to our community. That was our initial communication. We will have another communication when we have greater details, both from Power School as well as from our internal data people. This was a global incident, so it wasn't just Michigan, it was across the country, it was across the globe. It was a massive situation. So, and essentially what the threat actor gained access to was directory information such as name and addresses. We're still assessing what exactly was accessed, so they exported the student information table and the teacher information table. We have about 200 fields in each of those tables, but we do not use them all. So we are evaluating that at this time. Our next communication will delineate exactly what information they have received. And so, and we'll send that communication out as soon as we have that cleared up. And I believe we're gonna try, Christy, I think you were saying maybe tomorrow, we'll have that. So the goal is as soon as possible, but hopefully by tomorrow. No other district platforms were accessed, and again, our systems were not accessed. Power School was accessed, where the data was stored. It was from an employee credential that they were able to gain access and export the data tables. Our portals were not accessed. Power School says they're continuing to monitor. This is an FAQ, it was released yesterday, so that's the tiny URL as well as the QR code if you want to scan that. There's a whole series of FAQs that they released yesterday. So, very unfortunate, very disheartening and frustrating. I do feel strongly that they are contending with it, and I think when we get a second, Matt has some additional information. Do you want to come up and speak to it? Can you introduce yourself, David?
Hi, I'm Matt Samela. I am OVA's Director of Technology and Assistant Principal. There were some, the data was exported. Power School had some credentials that were out there. It was kind of like a backdoor from their system into another system. They accessed that information, they extracted the data. The threat actor, their job or the way that they make money is by reputation. Yes, they're criminals, but they make money by having a good reputation. They had proved to Power School that they deleted the data. CrowdStrike, which is a cybersecurity company, is constantly searching the dark web for all the information that Power School had and making sure that it is not released. An additional thing, we went through and made sure that we changed all parent access usernames and passwords because those were included in those data tables. We went through and completely wiped all those out and replace them with random character strings that we can send out to parents at a later time. So no student information can be accessed that way. Any other questions?
I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, well, we have, Matt, does anybody have questions pertaining to this specific issue? Mike?
Well, I guess just as far as changing passwords, are those passwords that the parents currently have, like they were expecting access and?
Their data access passwords to set up an account. So they were all sent out to parents in the beginning of the year. You probably got multiple emails from Oxford Schools saying, please set up your parent portal account, please set up your parent portal account. Those were the codes to be able to set up those parent portal accounts. Once the parent portal account is set up, then that parent owns that username and password that they have. We went through and changed all of those access passwords and IDs so that in the future we can send them out to parents so that if they haven't already set up their parent portal account, they can continue to do so.
Anybody else? Is there anything that parents need to do at this point today? Should they be worried about changing their own passwords at this point?
No, none of that data was accessed in it. It was really just directory information. And it didn't also include tables that were connected to the student table. Sometimes databases relate to other tables. None of it was just the basic teacher table and the basic student table that were attached and then exported.
That was very helpful.
And thanks for being here, Matt. Appreciate it. All right, so here are just some events that are coming up. I, for one, am very excited about Oxford's Got Talent. I believe this is a DK-12 opportunity for students to showcase their talents. And if you've ever been to a student talent show, they're awesome. Like, you just don't even know the talents that our students have until they get up there on the stage. It's one of the highlights of my school years when I was a principal. So if you have time to be there, it's an awesome event. It's just really fun to see the kids get up there and just showcase their skills. Just a reminder, we do have strategic planning. I'm going to give it one more shot. I know things are crazy during the holidays, so just in case it fell off your radar and you haven't signed up, please go ahead and do so. There's the link, there's the QR code. January 22nd, that's next Wednesday from 1 to 3 p.m. And then there's another option from 6 to 8 p.m. I welcome everyone. It's going to be very engaging, lots of opportunity to give feedback regarding the direction for Oxford Community Schools. So please sign up. We will shut down registration tomorrow because I do have to have a number so that I can make sure the space is appropriate for the event. Huge congratulations to Jake Champagne. He was Oxford basketball all-time leading scorer, and he was also recognized as Athlete of the Week at Detroit Free Press Prep Athlete. So congratulations to Jake, very fun. And what many of you have all been waiting for, I know I have, Mr. Kurt Noose. I'm so excited you're here tonight. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. I wasn't sure you were going to agree, but thank you for being here. So Nastasia Beasley actually nominated him for this award, and he was one of the finalists of this award. Any of you who know Kurt, he's just been a joy to get to know, and has been a huge supporter for me and helping me learn the ropes here in Oxford, so I really appreciate him. And not just because he's my cabinet buddy, but he's my buddy, so it's all good. So here are some of the things. I want to highlight some of the things that Ms. Beasley put in her letter. Kurt is a change agent, a mentor, and teacher extraordinaire. He's a trailblazer in leadership, service, and creating a forum and culture of flexible resolutions. Kurt is result-minded with decision-making skills, passion of an effective problem solver, continuous expectation of achieving more than his best, supported district initiatives that have flourished in difficult and trying times. Student-centered to the core. Concerned for all students. Great pride in our Wildcats. Supporting students at games, concerts, and musicals. The glue that holds us all together, and I believe that. And this was one of her final statements in her letter. In the 31 years, I have never collaborated with a more deserving candidate. And I know that is very true. So Kurt, could you come up?
We all know this is not a me award. This is, as Mr. Eldridge, you put it perfectly before. We live in a great community. We have got a great staff. I've been able to work with a great team. KGM has been a partner with me since DIRT. So being around here for a long time, I do love it here. We've had some challenges, but this is a great community, and most importantly, our students are unbelievable. So thank you.
And that concludes my report. Thank you, everybody.
Did anybody have questions regarding Dr. Milligan's presentation?
No, maybe not questions, comments. Second, Oxford's Got Talent. It's an awesome one. We were last year. I wanted to buy some of the artwork that was there, it was just a great time. It's amazing, both of the artists as far as their creativity from an actual art standpoint, but also the singers and the actors that came there and did their little gigs. It was just a great night. We brought the kids. It was awesome. And thank you, Dr. Milligan. As far as this, thank you. But I will admit that I think this will be a little bit higher on the wall.
Understandably.
Very appreciative of from the student. That was awesome. Recognized quite a few faces in there too. Just this is awesome. These are the good times here. And Kurt, I was expecting you to wear your Christmas suit, but I might have to borrow it one time. Anyway.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you again, Dr. Milligan. Thank you, Mr. News. Thank you so much to all the students. This is just awesome. I just love this, and I can't wait to put one of these on my fridge and make my kids a little bit jealous. But I'm sure that the teachers had a bit of a hand in the students' outpouring here, so we also really thank them so much. So moving right along into Board of Education matters. Our board leadership code. We had discussed this at the retreat on Saturday, and we had all been in agreement of where we're at on it, but just to bring it up again, it's in your packet. If you have any changes or edits or suggestions that you would like to bring forward, there is still time. At our next meeting, we will all sign this, and it will become official. And again, that retreat was just great, and I think we accomplished so much together, and this was one of those things. So unless anybody has anything additional on that, we can move forward. There's also the conflict of interest. I know some of our newer board members may have already signed and submitted to Kelly, but that is also here on the table. And so if you could please fill that out for anybody that has not yet on record this year and submit to Kelly. And next, we are going into our policy updates. It's been a minute since we went over these 3 policies. We had quite the break, but there were 3, if you remember. There was one that we had changed, which was the public participation at board meetings. And if you remember, that was just that small word that they'll provide name and address. We don't require our community members to come up and state name and address like some other districts do. So that was the only .01, which means we made revisions beyond Troon's suggestions. The other one was 5510, non-curricular clubs. The policy committee suggested that we move forward with that change from Troon, that the superintendent handles any appeals regarding that. And the last one was 5405, the parent and family engagement policy, that largely just had a lot of grammatical changes. But as you can see in the redlined version, Troon added a small component to that about the school parent compact. So, if anybody has questions, or we can take a motion. I can do it. I move to approve the adoption of board policy numbers 2504.01, 5405, and 5510 as presented. Support. Mike Aldred, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving along. Next up, we have Mrs. Hodges. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to our new board members, and congratulations to all of our board members and your new roles. I'm Anita Concha-Collins. I'm the Assistant Superintendent Teaching and Learning, and somebody sent me an email today that said, I know you always appreciated teaching opportunities, so if I may, for 1 minute, offer a teaching opportunity for our board members. So I am coming forth with some course catalog updates, but I just wanted to let you know that historically, we bring the course catalog forward twice a year. We'll bring it at the beginning of the school year, late summer, and then we bring it again mid-year for some minor updates. The majority of the updates, if we do make updates, will happen prior to the school year starting. So I'm bringing exactly just that, very minor updates to ensure we are in compliance and in alignment with names and selections that our students are making. So I'll start off to say that I'm not bringing any new classes, no new changes. The major changes are adjusting naming conventions. We've actually taken out our former board members. We've added the new board members. At the high school, for example, we've ensured Mr. Bigelow's name is in the course catalog now. At the middle school, we've had a counselor return from leave. We've made sure her name has now been added to her caseload. And then we do have some naming conventions that were pointed out to us by our audit. So when we have our people accounting audit, one of the things that they look at is ensuring that our course catalog is aligning to what students are registering in. So some names as an example that we have changed. Again, class has not changed, it's just the naming convention. So previously, as an example, a course was named Upper Middle School Science in the global course catalog. They've asked us to make that more specific. So now it's Science Upper L Bio or Biology or Chemistry or Earth or Physics, so that it is more spelled out to what the students will actually be working in as far as content. So the course itself has not changed, just the name to be in alignment with the registration and with our audit essentially. So that's all I'm bringing forth is just those and making sure we are in alignment and in compliance.
Thank you, Anita. Does anybody have additional questions? I know Anita provided us plenty of information beforehand, and we appreciate that. But if there's anything else, now's the time. Okay. Can I get a motion?
Move to approve the updated 24-25 course catalog updates as presented.
Support. Shane, thank you. Any discussion? Thank you again, Anita. I appreciate that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Unscheduled public comment. All right, we have one this evening. Corey Vanderkay.
I'm going to pass.
Okay. Thank you. Then moving on to scheduled activities, we have Board of Education meetings coming up fairly soon. We will have a lot of committee meetings posted on there. So as a reminder to our new committees and members to coordinate with Kelly to get your meetings scheduled and any administrative clarification. No? Okay. Any final board comments? Okay. Seeing none. It is 7:59. Thank you all for coming. This meeting is adjourned.